during basically one case in the microwave oven, then similar in the washing machines and the compressors. The biggest neck is what we are facing today is the model changeover time. That is one. And second is like in case of refrigerator, when it's basically polyurethane foaming we are doing. There are two chemicals, iso and polyol, and then we have to use some catalyst like cyclopentane. So during the process of this PU foaming, that time we have a lot of breakdowns because of the behavior of the chemical. Sometime injection port stuck up. So we have indication system like which jig it is problem. But the only thing is when we have to control, then it takes a lot of time. So although we have machinery from Germany and Japanese also, but still that time of breakdown is huge. So we are making some preventive maintenance and all. But this kind of problem it happens. It normally takes sometime 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and sometimes 4 hours also. So we are facing basically these two issues. One is the preventive maintenance where we can get some easier way to control all the machinery system, where we can get some signal or immediately our supervisor can reach the place. And second is the model changeover time.
Yeah, in fact, just before you start, Vinay, you would agree that the sensors which are used to control and detect smartness would make them predict and optimize. That is the idea of having a smart system in place. Yes.
Well, I'm not looking at smart manufacturing, but basic concerns which the manufacturing units have on the shop floor. I think the basic first concern that they have is skill set of the manpower. Right? People come, go, training, retraining, assembly line trainings, how to work on a product. The work instructions, the visual way of how they have to be trained, simulations, it's a nightmare. Right? We talk about lean manufacturing, we talk about productions. We don't have production planning control people on the shop floor. An executive who knows good Excel sheet, it becomes a PPC guy. That's the reality today, right? So while we are making of smart manufacturing organizations, I think the intelligence on how we upgrade the skill of human resources so that they can run these systems is the key pain of the industry today. There are no skilled people. There are no. Unfortunately, we are the world number 2 populated country, but skills not there. Second thing which I see is a pain is stopping the lines. Due to like what Sirs was saying, change over time and this and that. There is no connect between what the so-called PPC has to plan and the material lying on the shop floor and the WIP that they have, the tool readiness. So it only triggers when the changeover starts, right? So there is not a connect between everything. Yes, everything is green and changeover happens. And that changeover time, as rightly said by a gentleman, is it's pathetic, right? Then the next information is change. If I start a machine, maybe I have to start some accelerators, some robots, some conveyor lines. I have to program all differently. I'm taking times to individually set the required standard parameters to these utilities and robots one by one. I should have one scan and it should replicate. Time to start the production will go pretty fast. There are tons of pains, but I think I'll leave with this top 3.
Yeah, very well said. The person who is good in Excel sheets, he becomes a PPC guy, and the person who is good in PowerPoint becomes a consultant like me. It's on a lighter note.
That's very true.
In fact, when Mr. Madan talked about the variants, I mean, I was surprised that each tractor is customized, because I know that variants for you, especially LG Electronics, would be, depending on the models, you have hundreds and thousands. And for Relaxo, I think variants would be, I don't know how many variants you have, because every season you'll have to bring out new products.
That's very true. But before I come down to Relaxo, I see a good use or transformation happening in paint industry, which I have seen. I am almost 24 years into manufacturing. like Mr. Viraj from Henkel would agree, like a 4-ton batch which is stocking. The biggest paint player was also following 2.5-ton batches, and today they are making 20-ton batches. They were making all the shades inside the plant, now they are making the shades outside. So it's all about work and rework, and the biggest challenge in the manufacturing will always remain with the manpower. So how we go about reducing the manpower. I was a team member for a new plant in the paint company, and we were told to reduce the manpower count by 1/4 and the output by 4 times. So it is like a 1/16 of that work. And believe me, they went about doing it just because of automation help out there. Similarly, when I moved from one of the biggest to the third or fourth in number, it was a paperless industry. Till the paint came down to packing, it was absolutely paperless, and believe me, the best paint manufacturer, Asian, was making those errors, which was not seen in that industry. Just because it was paperless, everything was weighed, added through automation. So that's the type of advantage which automation do exist. But in India, in many, I would say, a bigger chunk of the manufacturing setup can afford the cost of automation, because substituting a manpower with automation cost is just not possible. Coming down to Relaxo, as Mr. Vimal was talking, the pains are numerous, and the biggest comes from the manpower. The skill, the churn out which happens is the biggest challenge. But we can only solve few problems at a time. So I would rate my second highest problem as the energy part, because we are into seasonal product. One product will require X amount of energy and resources, while the other one will take. So how quickly we adapt towards it, while the volume goes up and down. So utilities part, powers, these needs a lot of flexibility in the system. So maybe the second cost will come as a first priority from the automation part. And the second will always remain like how to go about ensuring the people are stable, they don't make error. Many industry, at least in my industry, RFIDs, and will take at least a decade to come. So my first challenge will be to take care of the energy part.
The utilities,
yeah,
because of the seasonal demand and ups and downs.
Yes.
We have 2 new panelists, so maybe you would like to introduce yourself, sir, so that... yeah.
Hello, good evening. Myself Satish Sharma from Victoria Tool, Faridabad.
Good evening. Myself Ajay Shukla. I am looking after Victoria plants as a plant head, and I am working in a manufacturing area since last 20 years.
Yeah. So just I'll give you a brief background. We just had a round of introductions, and then we asked a question about what are the key elements of a smart shop floor, and now we are discussing the pain areas which are being experienced while implementing the M2M communication and industrial Internet of Things on a shop floor, and the shop floor and top floor communication gap. So what we'll do is we'll finish this round and we'll come back to you. So Anil ji.
Two pain areas I would like to share. One is the customer requirements, which are frequently getting changed. How to cope up with the frequently changed customer requirements to have a flexible system, so that model to model, when changeover is there, so with a good speed as per the delivery requirements in a good flexible system, we are able to cope up the requirements. I just share my mind what I am having something, that like a robot if we are having, and some welding fixture is getting used for production of a particular component. Now customer demands that another component is to be produced. I am just taking an example. So in that robot, we remove the fixture, put it over, do some programming for product A, that then robot does the welding for that. We change over the fixture and then press the button for product B, and we are able to produce on the same equipment using different fixture like that. So what I mean to say that the frequently changing requirements of the customer, how we are able to do that in a speedy manner, that is the pain area, number one. Number two is the purchased BOPs from the suppliers. See, जितने भी हमारे OEMs हैं, like two-wheeler, four-wheeler, they all are having maybe around 80% of the components or assemblies outsourced. We are also having number of suppliers, and for good quality and for timely delivery to OEMs, we are also depending upon suppliers who are sub-suppliers for the OEMs. So the difficulty which comes with the suppliers, with the supply chain, is again with the quality part, with the timely delivery part. So that is the second pain area.
ये एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ सब में बताई कि कस्टमर के चेंजिंग रिक्वायरमेंट्स. एक ज़माना ऐसा था जैसे प्री लिबरलाइजेशन डेज. आई स्टार्टेड माय करियर इन लेट 80s एंड उसमें तो ऐसा था कि जो कष्ट से मरता है वो कस्टमर होता है, क्योंकि उसको कोई चॉइस ही नहीं था, जो बनाते थे उसको खरीदना पड़ता था. बट विद दिस लिबरलाइजेशन, डिजिटाइजेशन, ग्लोबलाइजेशन, वी आर एट अ प्लेस वेयर कस्टमर इज डिमांडिंग and we have to meet those demands through smart shop floor. Makwana साहब, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इसमें?
Two or three things, you know. One is what Mr. Manchanda, I think, he said, talked about people. Now, India is such a country where a huge number of festivals, you know, and absenteeism is a big problem. I used to work in Jamshedpur. It used to start with Holi and end with 14 January of the next year, and continuous festivals. So you have a huge attrition and you have absenteeism. Where to get the right guy is a big issue. And when you get a guy, you have to train him. Why can't we have systems that are simple so that we get people who can operate it? Who can, I can immediately substitute a person with a second person. Because I have faced the pain of absenteeism and attrition, and I'd like to give a humorous example. These are those days when all this automation was not there. I used to make axles in an assembly line. So suddenly there was a demand, and Tata Motors decided that the target is going to go up. So you got a whole batch of new people, and we were told you put these guys on the line and you expect production to increase. So I told my supervisor, you put this guy in oil filling. Oil filling at that time was manual. Nowadays you have this automatic system where the automatic amount of 8 liters or 10 liters or 12 liters, by reading the barcode on the card, the machine decides. But at that time it was manual. So what happened, this supervisor taught this guy. He was supposed to fill, let's say, 12 liters or something. He didn't understand what a decimal was. He filled 1.2 liters in every axle. And next day a huge number of vehicles at Tata Motors got stopped because oil is less. So then I thought I'll talk to this guy, you know. I talked to that operator. I asked him that, boss, how are you? I mean, how did you make this mistake? Show me. So he showed me. So I said, yaar, you don't have a scooter or motorcycle? Pump पे कभी देखा नहीं है क्या? So he was a simple आदिवासी. बोलता बाबू हम तो साइकिल में आता है. So that was the way absenteeism and all this are real big pains every industry has. How we can use technology. I'd like to give an example of what I saw at Imtex. You know, there's an Indian manufacturer called Marshall. They make machines in Ludhiana. And you know, they were having these use of robotics and the use of automatic gauging. So once a part is decided, a person has to just load in the machine. It is picked up by the robo, put on the left side turret, pre-machine, then again picked up by the robo from the left side, it goes to the right side turret of the lathe and it gets finished, and then it goes to a checking station where it gets checked and the part is out. So the operator does not have to do anything. Maybe if you have a room of 3-4 machines of this type, there is one supervisor or one CNC programmer required and a person to load unload. So even if there is absenteeism, you will have an option to put anybody to load unload. So this is the type of system that we are looking for basically. Thank you.
The system which is not people dependent but process dependent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As such, we are not having any pain area. We did 3 years journey.
Can you just hold the mic close?
We did many small improvements, and our changeover time in many cases 0, and some of the cases 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And we are supplying many parts to JCB and 0 defect parts. And I can say कि pain area is we do everything manually. We plan everything, and we do all the instruction manually. The system is there, which we can look. We go in the shop floor and we can see everything, which is required to us.
Yeah. That's the same.
I'm purely an IT guy, so I just can't comment on the problem being faced on the shop floor as such. But as I can hear from everybody, what I can suggest or what I can see is the problem can be solved only if each and every equipment in your assembly line is talking to each other, and you having a integrated software which is smart and intelligent enough to decide on your behalf, and it should not be person dependent. As you rightly said, the whole thing should be process driven, so that the pain area, which Mr. Umesh has rightly said, you need to have a trained person to do a certain amount of a job or a type of a job. So if it is a process driven or it is a IT driven, a person with a little knowledge of that particular domain can also operate that thing. So I think bringing more of IT and IT solutions will help you to solve your problem as such.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, again, like it's a common problem where like we have got a lot of dependency on people. So we need to have solutions which are low cost automation or automation, where we can have minimum number of people, and when the minimum number remains, then we need to have a digital shop floor, where like from training, induction training, to the on-job training, to the work instruction, to the communication, to the surveillance, everything is integrated and should be digital. So that is one. Other is like right now we are not on real-time order booking. We are not getting feedback from market. What are the real-time order booking? And then we should have a system where like the supplier orders can be blocked or can be controlled based on the trend in the market. So we make LED products. You know, LED technology and the preferences of people changes very, very fast. So one product moves very fast, and within say 6 months it goes off. New product comes in, say choice changes very fast. So we need to have that kind of system where like obsolescence and the inventories can be controlled very well. So, thank you.
Yeah, Mrs. Sonone.
I think as far as the Phenolics is concerned, we have also the batch type and maybe the process type of the systems for this manufacturing. We have the dry mix, then the liquid mixing. We have after that manufacturing of compound, it goes for the extrusion. Then after the extrusion, it goes for this the post operation like the threading, grooving, and the other operations. That is one part as far as the pipes are concerned. The second part of that is the fitting. It is for the injection molding. Main is because of the number of SKUs, and the market demand, actually it suddenly changes. So to manage this production is a little difficult task as far as we are facing. even if this is season wise also, if you have the data actually at what season what kind of demand is there, but that is also not happening. Last year, if we have the demand for the certain SKUs or certain pipes and fittings, this time on this same graph the requirement changes. So actually to keeping the WIP for this different SKUs is a little problem. Secondly, of course, the manpower is definitely the issues for us, because our extrusion and the most of the pipe process is manual. We are making it the semi auto systems actually we are adopting, but still the manpower is the main issue. Secondly, we have 77 the lines for this pipe production. So the mainly this maintenance part is again the problem. Then the changeover, the tools. Even if the changeover is planned,